like, come on through, Cookie. I want to pull my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Cookie? Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. Let's talk about Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 2, episode 9. I'm going to start right in and talk about Ashley and Michael. I am actually worried about these two as a whole, as far as their whole marriage is concerned. When we start off, they had the event and there was a big blow up in the last episode. So Ashley basically wanted to get through and look through her box and check out what the comments that were left by the customers were and that kind of thing, because what was in that box is going to determine really what's going to go on with the restaurant, whether that whole little situation was a success or not. And then that kind of flips over onto her marriage as well. What's going to be the next step with the marriage? Me personally, I don't have high hopes for that marriage. I really don't. But I'm looking. They went to a pottery class this episode, her and Michael. They talked about some things. They kind of made up before they went to pottery class, but they really didn't. Like, Michael thought he was kind of brushing it under the rug and making up. Ashley, not so much. When they got to the pottery class, they're actually talking. Ashley's whole demeanor is completely different than what it has been up till this point. Now we have Michael talking about the baby, having the baby. Ashley says she don't want no baby. So for Ashley to say she doesn't want a baby, that's startling to me. That's like, because she's the young one here in this whole little situation. Me personally, I think she's over it. How she got to be over it so quickly, I don't know. In a year's time, a lot of things can happen in a year. But in a year's time, looking at where they are now, I'm wondering if there's more going on that we're not seeing on television. You know what I mean? You got this young girl with this older man, and of course, he's doing like older men always do. Wow, and play the game. They always want to raise you to their hand. He's trying to do that. He has been doing that. It was all right. You've been trying to have this baby pretty much, and I felt like lock him down. And now all of a sudden, you're so over the situation and the treatment that you don't even want the baby. So is there another old man looking at you? I mean, because to me, it just sounds like she's ready to walk away from all of it, from the money and all of it. Like, she's just over it. So it just leads me to think, what's going on, Ashley? Because you're kind of a girl that came from nothing. What's actually going on that's so bad? Because I know you're not just that fucking dangy that you're just going to walk away from all the money and go back to being just old Ashley. Is there another gentleman calling you? Is that what's going on? I don't know. Y'all tell me down in them comments what y'all think is making her really, because I don't see any physical abuse or anything like that. And the mental, it doesn't seem there's mental or verbal of that magnitude that would make her walk away from her whole lifestyle. I don't know. I kind of see that Ashley, I always have my good contact lens on that bitch. So I don't know. I'm wondering if another old man is barking up her tree, honey. I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I'm done with that situation. Moving on. Let's talk about Karen, Giselle. A mess. Karen and Giselle meet up with Sharice and Monique. I don't think Sharice was actually part of the plan in the beginning. It was really a luncheon to get Giselle and Monique together under Karen's tutelage to try to fix what they actually had going on. And this was falling on complete deaf ears. It was a mess. It was a mess. Giselle is just being a bitch. Flat out. I don't even have a nicer way to say it. She's being a bitch. And what is going on with her confessional look? Her confessional look, now the hair, I think I kind of like the hair in the confessional because it's just big hair, big, flowy drag queen hair. Because it kind of reminds me of like a accelerated heart to heart. Like I just keep waiting on her to say, Jonathan. You know what I mean? It's one of them things. But that eyeshadow, girl, you're not gonna worry me with a whole fuchsia eyelid. You hear me? That is a fucking mess. But whatever, Giselle, go on somewhere. I love her, but she just sometimes just can't get it right. But she's being a complete bitch. She doesn't want to make up with Monique. Monique is not a pushover. Monique is not a kiss ass. That's that. She's that girl. She's not equipped with the ass kisser gene. She's not. So that if Giselle never breaks back, they're never going to make up. And Giselle saying, like, I'm speaking English and you speaking trick trash. I'm like, Lord have mercy. A mess. Then at some point, fucking Sharice just breaks out crying. I'm like, what are you doing, honey? And Karen's like, those tears don't work here, girl, because this is not about you, bitch. You know what I mean? It was so ridiculous. Like, just start crying and y'all are both my friends and I want y'all to get along. Child, don't nobody give a fuck about that shit. Because I know where I'll be at it with a bitch. I don't care nothing about who else your friends is. Bitch, I don't want to hear that shit. You want to get that bitch and get that bitch in her place. You don't care about who's friends with who. Because ain't none of us got to be friends. If I got to deal with, get that bitch in her place. So that shit was just ridiculous. And they were like, yeah, Sharice, girl, shut up. It was ridiculous. But they got absolutely nothing accomplished. Later on, Monique ended up having a party for the baby. The baby turned 1. She invited everybody except for Giselle. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to hold off on Monique. We'll close up with Monique because she was rubbing me the wrong way like somebody had rocks in my shoes. Talk about Karen and Ray. Karen and Ray have sold the house. They are basically, they're leaving Potomac. She's going to be like 20 minutes away from Potomac. So in a minute, are we really going to be able to call this Housewives of Potomac? Because not a motherfucking soul is going to be living in Potomac at all. Robin doesn't live in Potomac. Karen's moving away from Potomac. Who's there? Sharice? Because I don't think Giselle's even in Potomac anymore. So, like, it's not Housewives of Potomac, child's housewives that used to live in Potomac. A mess. A whole hot mess. But anyway, their house sold. They had a cash sale, which tells me that the price had dropped pretty substantially. And they went on and got rid of it and everything. So that was that whole thing. Nothing really, I don't know. They're losing steam here with this program. Something going to have to happen and not this little cornball shit that they got going on. Let's talk about Robin. I am so tired of the tears of a clown. You understand me? I'm sick of her. She finally went and sat with a therapist that Dr. Jeff got her, sent her to. And it's a woman. The woman seemed very, very nice, very easy to open up to and everything. Robin started going through some of her shit. 7 years of marriage. Then he moved out for a year, and then he moved back. Bitch, there goes your problem right there. You mean to tell me that you took up residency in my pussy for 7 years, and then you left, went into the streets, dirtied up your dick and did whatever it is you wanted, and then you came back and moved that dirty dick back into my house? No, sir. No, sir. No, ma'am. I was done. And I don't know if they actually covered this earlier on when we first met Robin. I must not have been paying attention. I can't even imagine. Once you're gone, that's it. So, you know what, Robin? I don't even want to hear no more of it. It's just ridiculous. Everything you're saying is stupid. And I am truly, personally sick of the tears of a clown. Your whole issue, the woman asked her, do you want love with someone else? She danced and partied all around that question. Then she went into this thing of acting like she's scared of people. Crazy ass. The problem is you're in love with Juan. Juan is not in love with you. Juan's not even infatuated with you at all. It just is what it is. You make it too easy. He doesn't like living with you, I don't believe. It's just cheaper to live with you. Everything with you is just more convenient to live with you. And everybody knows, don't a man gotta like you to fuck you? He really don't. He really, really doesn't. Comes home, whatever day, it seems to be whatever day he can't get nothing from wherever, and it just happened to get hard, he'll slide it on in you. Child, it'd be the same thing if I was laying there. If he slided in me, bitch, it don't make no difference. Long as it's warm, we ain't even ready to go all that deep with it. He don't like you, bitch. He don't like you, and you need to get the fuck over it. Moving on. Sharice, Karen, they get together. Now they decided that they were going to plan this trip together to Bermuda for the girls. I said, good, y'all done got y'all second season, y'all gonna have a little trip. Child, tell me why Karen and Sharice later in the program decides to now have a feud going about who's actually the hostess, and who's the helper. Who the fuck cares? Who even cares if you bitches don't just get your passports and get your ass to Bermuda and shut up? It was so ridiculous. It was the most ridiculous argument I have ever seen. Most ridiculous. I was done with it. Absolutely done with it. And, you know, the last two episodes, I have been kind of like rolling with Karen a little bit, and different things been going on that concern Karen. I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. Karen was just as nasty with that bullshit and throwing these nasty little digs at Sharice, and even had to go so deep as to talk about her mood swings and stuff. That was dirty as hell. That was dirty as hell. All about who's planning what for Bermuda. Dirty. Friends like that, you don't need no enemies. Not at all. And I remember just in 15 minutes of this episode why I hated Karen so much from the beginning. And yeah, I still don't fucking like her. Just ridiculous. She is so ridiculous. And none of that made sense. So let's go on and talk about Monique. Monique got on my nerves in this episode. Because you're doing too much. She was doing the Phaedra Parks little situation. You got this party for this 1-year-old baby who's not going to remember any of this other than the pictures that you took. $20,000. So, and it's like, and I hate that. I hate this money throwing out and all of that. And every time, okay, we know you have a bunch of different houses. When you say you're going to a different house, because you're going to go over to this house to have a party, over to the lake house. That's great. That's enough. That's enough information. I don't need to know the fucking square footage of the house that you're going. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And it's not a good look when you're on here. You got to tell us how much you're spending for the party, how much square footage the house is, this, that, and the other. It was ridiculous. And then when she made the comment, well, maybe Giselle doesn't like me because I remind her of the way her life was before. That was nasty. And the cute part is, you think it makes you look cute when you lean on the money and the material things you have. It doesn't make you look cute. What it makes you look is because remember, we already know your mother-in-law thinks you're a gold digger. And then you say smart shit about your mother-in-law on the slide. You throw little snipes at your mother-in-law, and then you back it up with money that you're spending, which is always an issue with the mother-in-law, how much the way you spend his money, and then this other materialistic shit. When we're the viewers, we're looking, and it's not making us say, yeah, Monique, bitch, yes. It's making us say, this bitch ain't never had nothing and she ain't used to nothing. That's how it comes off. Other than that, girl, you're sharp. You dress real nice. Very interesting. You're a very interesting person. Very interesting character. If you kick that materialistic bullshit to the side, girl, you be all right. And that just got on my nerves. And again, it is your new money chick. And I guess it'll wear off. I hope it wears off because it's very unbecoming. It really is. But anyway, that was all I really had to say. The party was nice. I think they overpriced some of the shit because some of that same shit that you had. I have a cousin that throws parties like that every summer for her grandchildren, and I know she's not spending. She ain't spending $2,000, let alone 20. Okay, so I wasn't impressed. Surely, I wasn't impressed. Later.